Hey there, as you can tell from my previous video's upload date, it's been a while since I've done a Danny's World tier list. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make another Danny's video, but since so many tunes have been added, it only felt right to do another tier list for my adoring fans. I'd recommend watching the previous video for some context, but TLDR, we're ranking the tunes based on their usefulness of their stats, their abilities, and how well they fulfill their role in a run. Also, like and subscribe and all that stuff. Here's the tier list from the last video, although I do have to make some adjustments. Let's cut right to the chase. V's going into A tier. I still agree with my points in the previous video, but I do think I did V dirty when it comes to how useful their ability is. Not to mention that V is still the best extractor, even if they do come with some noticeable downsides. I also made some slight adjustments to the tiers, but I feel like they are relatively self-explanatory. Now with that out of the way, the first character we have to discuss is... I was so wrong about Looey on release, because looking at his stats, Looey just looks like a meh extractor. However, Looey's secret sauce is all on his passive, a passive that makes him faster than Pebble at 1 heart. Granted, that's at 1 heart, but this alone makes Looey really versatile. Similar to Tisha, he may not be the best at any one specific role, but his true utility is as a best of both worlds tune, which lands him an A tier in my list. Connie is what I'd consider a stealth extractor, utilizing your knowledge of the game and high stealth to keep yourself away from Twisteds. He has a great ability that keeps yourself safe, but that 50-second cooldown can be brutal in tense situations. She definitely is one of the harder tunes to play, but can be very self-sufficient if played correctly. B tier. It's the first Christmas tune, and it's Rudie. Rudie doesn't stand out much with their average stats, but they make up for it with their unique dash ability. It might not be the longest dash, but the ability cooldown itself is super low. This allows Rudie to have a unique combo with icing and snakes, allowing Rudie to spam their ability for long twisted chases. Rudie is definitely not the best, but they're fun, and they get a C tier in my book. Sorry Cosmo, there's a better healer in town. Cosmo's already really great, so when you make Cosmo with better extracting stats, it's a recipe for easy success. Not to mention that while their ability is on a longer cooldown, they can heal from a much longer range. There's not really much to say about Ginger that hasn't been said about their healing buddies, easy A tier. Speaking of character with better stats, here's Pebble but with worse stats. That's a little unfair to Cole because Cole is genuinely a fine distractor, but they really don't bring much to the table. He has a hard time taking away Twisteds from other tunes, and their only unique trait is essentially V's ability, but for items. This is nice, it can help your group find some items that would be otherwise difficult to find, but it isn't enough to put Cole above her competition. B tier. I feel bad for Bobette, because as the first holiday main, they definitely deserved better stats than this. I'll give her this, she does have a 4-star skill check, but that's her only redeeming trait. Can't distract, can't extract, 2-star stealth, and has a selfish ability that makes most Twisteds re-aggro to her anyways. Only real redeeming trait is her stamina aura, although Astro is generally just a better tune if stamina management is an issue. Unfortunately, Bobette gets a low C tier. Yatta is, frankly, insane for what is considered a common tier tune. He has a 5-star extraction speed, and the great combination of both a 4-star movement speed and 2-star stealth. She can single-handedly fulfill the role of both extractor and distractor, with her only downside being 1-star stamina, which is barely a downside. Her ability is even greater, being a free item source for either herself or her fellow tunes, including Sprout, who definitely appreciates the extra tapes. Genuinely, there is nothing Yatta can't do, which lands her an easy S tier. Eggson is the first tune for the Easter event, and he definitely gives a unique showing. His unique passive allows him to jumpstart machines, allowing for an interesting playstyle of tapping each machine and getting some free progress. Unfortunately, this isn't as effective in practice, and this leaves Eggson as an attractor who'd really appreciate more specialized stats. Still, for his unique role, he gets a high C tier. This is definitely one of the best tunes for the event, having the unique trait of flexibility with their great stats. They're very similar to Yatta, although personally I'd say they're slightly worse due to their lower extraction stats. On the plus side though, Flyte has a really great supportive ability, essentially being a lingering version of Tish's ability, and the same cooldown as well. You definitely can't go wrong with Flyte, which lands them a high A tier. Surprisingly, Coco is a very polarizing tune to rank. Start off, their ability is fantastic, being an extraction and movement speed steroid on a short cooldown that anyone can use. Coco themselves being able to use it would be nuts, but the fact that their teammates can use it too makes it absurdly good. For their stats, Coco looks like they'd rather be distracting than extracting, but their high stealth makes it very hard to actually take advantage of that movement speed. Honestly though, all you really need is a low cooldown build with that ability and you get enough out of Coco already. A tier. Possibly the hardest tune to rank on this list, Bassie is incredibly unique with their item focused abilities. Being able to hold an extra important item and being able to transfer them to other tunes makes Bassie significantly useful. Bassie also has amazing stats for a distractor, nearly the same as Pebble, which would imply she'd be great at that role. Unfortunately, Bassie runs into the same problem Coco has, with that high stealth making their role significantly harder. I think Bassie has a lot of potential, but it's harder to see her usefulness without some more practice with the tune. Definitely a high B tier for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're bumped a tier higher later, once their significance of their ability becomes clear. And that's all, folks. I definitely say the later tunes are, for the most part, incredibly good, so it was really difficult to place them this time around. Make sure to let me know which tune you liked the most, or even which one you thought deserved a different ranking. With that all out of the way, have a great rest of your day.